Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Dipankar, and today in this video we are going to talk about how to apply styles to the flex card. So in this video we are going to explore the possible ways that we can use to apply style to the flex card, and we'll make sure that we are doing some hands-on in order to have some practical experience as well, right? So let's get started. And in this particular screen on the right part, if you see over here the particular section, the name of the account and its details, also the contacts, right? And all these input boxes and the buttons, they are built using FlexCard and without writing any piece of code. Now, let's try to build something like this from the scratch so that we'll also have some experience, right? Now, if you want to get this FlexCard and try to do some hands-on or try to clone it and play around. So for that, uh, if you have been watching my previous videos, I have explained this already. If not, you can just go to GitHub. I have this repository over here and I'll just paste it on this comment section. In this repository, you just have to come to the Velocity Dataflex folder and then go to FlexCard styling, and you can just simply download this particular FlexCards and OmniScripts so that you will able to see what I am able to see over here in my screen, right? And when you just download them, um, try to import them into your org, and after import, activate them, and after activate you again have to deactivate them and reactivate again to make sure the lightning web components get generated and the flex cards and omniscripts behave properly, right? Having said that, let's come back to this particular screen, and we are trying to build something like this, right? Oh, we are not going to build the entire functionalities, but we are going to build a part of it so that we'll able to know and get the feel of how to do it in FlexCard Designer, right? Now the similar FlexCard, I have it open over here. The name is display SEC con details, and from this FlexCard, I have used the clone button to clone another FlexCard. So this is display SEC con details clone. I just have added a blank state and I have removed everything. So it is as good as a new FlexCard, just that the data source is configured over here. Now, if I click on save and fetch, so we are just starting from the scratch, by the way. Now we have multiple nodes. Now let's try to focus on the account part first, right? So let's click on OK. And for the result JSON path, let's stream into the account part. So once I click on this account and click on save and fetch, it will show only this particular fields, right? Now, even before applying styles to these fields, right? We can also apply styles to the entire state as well. For example, we'll see the padding margin level, those parts later on. Let's try to do something interesting. So for this particular state, uh, let's try to add a background. For example, I have a static resource over here, and this static resource have just a logo. This is not very much relevant, but just assume that it's just a image or a static resource that we want to use. To use any static resource into your FlexCard, you have to get the relative URL of the static resource. So for us, the relative URL is anything after the base URL, that is this HTTP, the name of the Salesforce org. So I'm just copying uh, the path after the path after the base URL, and let's come over here. Let's go to background image and let's try to paste it. So as soon as I uh, click outside of this box, you see that the background is getting applied, right? Now, uh, there is something wrong. I don't want to say wrong because that's how it behaves. So let's say you don't want to make it repeated. So you can just write no repeat. And let's say the image is too big for you, right? So you want to resize the image to the size of the container. Now, if you just click on this info icons, just hover over this info icons, it will actually give you a small hint about how to use it. Let's say I want to use content, right? As soon as I type content and type out of it, it applies to this, right? And similar to the background position, let's say I want to position it to the center. I can just write center, or maybe just position it to the right, right? So this is how the things are done. Now if you feel that this is interesting, so let's try to build what we have seen over in this particular screen, right? So let's try to build this thing. Now the good part of FlexCard is as soon as I click save and paste, and the nodes that are just present as the outermost nodes in this particular record, right? That we are getting. So if we go to the build part and go to the fields, these fields will be automatically created by the FlexCard designer itself. We just have to do drag and drop and they will show up over here. You see this, right? Now let's try to build our FlexCard, right? So the first thing we have is we have the name, the font is little large, we have a background, right? So let's try to do that. And if you see the name is not also getting displayed over here, so we also have to hide the name, the label as well, right? So let's try to do this thing. So for applying styles, just click on whatever the field or section that you want to apply. I just clicked over here and then go to the style tab. So you will see a whole lot of options over here. So you'll see the styles applied to the fields, including the label and value, the dimensions, the appearances. That for the appearance part, we already did it for the states, right? Then we for the alignment part, like padding, margin, and the text align, right? And there is also something called custom CSS, right? So there is also something called container CSS, and there is something called inline CSS. Um, so let's try to do something. Let's try to apply a CSS uh, to make the account name hidden from the string. So let's come to the field for the label class, right? So account name is the label of the field. So if you go to build and I think properties, so this is the label account name, right? So we just want to make it hidden. So for this, you can use custom CSS or you can also use the SLDS tokens. SLDS and SLDS tokens both will work. So let's say I want to use a SLDS token. So let's say I want to SLDS hide. So as soon as I type SLDS hide and click outside, the name, the label basically got hidden from the display, right? Now, for this value, right? Um, we can add the font family, font size over here. Let's say, since we have we have hidden the label, so this doesn't make sense to us. Let's say for the font size, we can make it to 30 px. As soon as I write 30 px, it is there, right? And let's say we want to align it to the center. We just uh, choose the option and it is there, right? And let's say you okay, so this is one option to make the font size 30 px. But we can also do it using the inline CSS, right? So we can write font size 30 px, right? And we can also add the font weight. Let's say we just want to add font weight. Let's say it was 900 by default, right? So this is also another way. Now, the thing is that let's say we want to add a background to it. Now, this can be done using this part, but we are also going to explore the other possibilities as well. We are just going to see what are the options that we have, right? It's not about doing it, but it's about exploring the ways uh, we can to do it, right? Now let's come to this add custom CSS part. Now in this custom CSS part, you can add any class and I can add CSS. Let's say I want to add this background color. Let's say I just remove it. Now what are we trying to do? We are just trying to create a new CSS class. Let's say for header, let's say I just want to write this account name class, and for this account name class, the background color should be this. And since this is a class selector, we are adding a dot prefix to it. And as soon as I click on save, and let's copy this class name, click on save. Now, if we want to add the background color over here, just come to the custom class and just write account name, and the background color is now the color that we have given under the custom CSS plugin. So this is one way to add custom CSS to your Flex class, right? The second thing is container class, right? Um, okay. So you might think if you do a mix and match, will it work? Let's say I added a background color to this class, but for the padding and margin, I want to do it using this FlexCard designer given options, right? So let's say for the dimensions, or maybe I think it should be under appearance. No, it's under alignment, right? Inside alignment, let's say give a padding around and give a large, or maybe a large will also work fine. So we have given a large padding, right? So what we seen over here, this also works, right? Now let's say we have given a custom class. Now let's try to give a container class to it. So this is now a pure rectangular box, right? Let's try to see if we add SLDS card class to it, and it will work or not. So for that, let me try SLDS card, and as soon as I click outside of this box, you will see that these corners will be rounded. So I just clicked, and you see that the corners have been rounded, right? Yeah, so these are the options that you can use to apply CSS to the card, right? So let's go back and actually remove this background image URL. It's not looking very nice. So yeah, I have removed it. Now we have our name over it. Now you might wonder if we have custom class and we have inline CSS class, then which is going to have more priority? So the answer is more priority will be given to the inline CSS. So for example, if I write the background color as red, so the background color will be red over here. Let's say instead of red, let me write yellow. So let's change back to orange. Okay, now we have applied this. So we have explored different types, right? We have explored padding. We can also explore the margin as well. So we can go and add a small margin and click on this plus icon, and a margin is also added. Now let's try to add the other fields and explore the other types of CSS options. Now let's come back to the field section. Let's drag the industry. We'll drag industry. Then let's try to build a shipping city. Um, what else? Let's try to bring out the fields. Industry street. You have the city, then uh, postal code. What else? We have the country, and we will also have the created by name, right? Now we can resize them using drag and drop capabilities. So we can just resize it to half of the uh, size, right? So I'm doing this, and I hope you will be also able to do this. So there is no such complexity in doing this thing. What I'm trying to explain over here is, uh, once I am able to, um, once I am able to complete this exercise, in this particular screen, if you see, the same kinds of fonts backgrounds have been applied to all of the fields so that they look uniform, right? So let's try to build that part. So let's come over here and let me drag it. So the postal code to me does not looks right. Sometimes it happens that it detects automatically, so you may have to change it to back to number or whatever it suits as per your use cases, right? Now let's focus on this industry part. For this industry, let's try to add some design tokens. Okay, so we have added some SLDS tokens. So let's try to add some more SLDS2 tokens. So I have something called SLDS heading medium. So let's try to add this. So I want my industry's level to be of SLDS small size. Let's assume uh, we have its small size, and for the value, let's make it bigger. Let's say it's medium. Okay, now we have added this. Now let's do one more thing. Let's try to add a theme to it, right? So there is also something called Salesforce theme. Like we have done it over here. Let's try to add a shaded theme. Okay, so the theme is also getting applied. There is also padding margin, text size, that everything is fine. Also, since the fields are automatic generated, you might have to rename the levels just to make sense, right? So instead of uh, having them as is, we can just add space so that they look readable, right? Let's do the same for the country, then created by, let's remove the name from it. Okay, so what I have done over here, I have applied a CSS to this particular field. Now, as I am talking, I don't exactly remember what are all the options that I have configured over here. So if I am trying to remember and go back to the other fields and do it, there is a chance that I might forget something and this doesn't look the same, right? For this, what I can do over here, let's come back to this particular field, go to styles. If we want to apply this style to the other fields, we want to save this style. So we can come over here on this top right. You can just click on save as. Let's say we want to name is account fields styling. Okay. So I have saved this. Now, if I want to apply the same thing to here, you can just come to the particular field and go to styles tab and just select this. I think it didn't save or what. Let me go back and go to styles. Yeah, I think it saved. Um, Save. Okay. So now let's come back to shipping street. Now let's come to styles. It says no style selected, but now you can see that account field styling is present over here. Now click on save. As soon as I click on save, this styling, whatever it was applied to this particular field as well. So now it is easier for me to apply this style to the other fields as well, right? So you can just come over here and select the styling, and it's now done very quickly and within minutes, right? So these are actually the different types of options that you can use to add styles. Okay. So yeah, so we kind of not exactly, but we kind of able to build something similar to what we have over here on this particular screen, right? And if you want to explore more, you can just import this flex card to your org and try to see the options that have been configured over here. And you can also able to see how to create a filter, how to launch an OmniScript from the flex card. All these options you can try to explore as well. And if you want me to explain this over here in this channel, you can also let me know as well. I'll also do video for that as well. So yeah, so this is a quick video about how to apply styles to your FlexCard and what are the possible options that are there in the FlexCard designer, so that you can able to apply styles to your FlexCard, right? So yeah, this is all for this video, and thank you for watching.